In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a sleek, professional, and highly customizable resume in Notion that will leave a lasting impression on potential employers or clients. So here is the resume that we're going to be building today. So as you can see, it looks really professional and it has everything that a potential employer would be looking for. I'm also going to be showing you how you can customize the colors of the resume. So I also made a purple version and a blue version, but you could choose any color that you like. So stick around until the end to see how I did this. So I'm going to start by creating a new page. So I'm just going to type in /page and create this new page here. And that's going to bring up a new page here. So the name of the page is actually just going to be your name. So this is where we're going to put your name on the resume. So in this example, I'm just going to create a fun little resume for Leslie Knope, but feel free obviously to put in your own name here. I'm also just going to go up here and click these three dots in the corner, and I'm going to select this full width option, which is just going to make the page a little bit bigger so we have more space to add in all of the different elements of the resume. And I'm just going to select this empty page option here to give us a blank space to work with. So the first thing we're going to do is just add in a divider under the name. So I'm just going to type in 3 dashes in a row, and as you can see, that's just added in a divider like this. And just underneath here, we're going to type in /callout and select this callout block. And in this case, I'm going to start by showing you the grey example, and then at the end, I'm going to show you how you can customize the colors. So for this example, I'm going to click on the 6 dots, and under color, I'm just going to select grey. And I'm also just going to change the icon here. So it's just picked a random emoji. So I'm going to click on here, and instead of emojis, I'm actually going to select an icon. So this is Notion's icon library. So I'm actually just going to click here and change this to grey so that we get a grey icon. And I think I'm going to pick this human outline icon here. So this section is going to be the About Me paragraph. So I'm just going to type in About Me, and I am just going to bold this as well. So if I just highlight it and select bold just to make it stand out a little bit more. So this is where you're going to write a brief paragraph about yourself. So I'm actually just going to copy and paste what I had in on the other one, but obviously feel free to write something relevant to yourself. And to write in the actual text, if you just hit enter here, it's just going to go to the next level, but I actually want to put the text inside of this callout block. So if I just put my cursor back here, and if you hold down the shift key on your keyboard and then hit enter, it will allow you to write your text within this callout block. So just write your text here. I'm actually just going to paste in what I had earlier. So this is the paragraph that I'm going to include. So you can just write something similar to this for your About Me paragraph. Next, underneath this paragraph, we're going to add in 2 columns. So I'm going to type in / and just type in 2C like this. And that's going to bring up this 2 columns block, which I'm going to select. So we now have 2 columns. So this is the first column. And if I hover here, you can see this here is the second column. So in the first column, I'm going to add a H1 heading. So that's the biggest type of heading that Notion has. So I'm going to type in /H1 and select this heading 1 block. And this is going to be the contact section. So I'm just going to name it contact. And this is where we're going to put all of our contact details. And we're also going to add a divider like this one just underneath. So if I hit enter and go underneath, and I'll type in 3 dashes in a row, and that will automatically add a divider like this. Now in the second column, this is where we're going to input all of our work experience. So again, I'm going to grab a H1 heading block, and this one we're going to label work experience. And I'm also just going to add that divider again, so just 3 dashes, and it will add in the divider. Next, I'm just going to make this first column a little smaller. So if you remember on the example, we have, this is the contact column in the side. So this is a smaller column, whereas the work experience, we want to take up the majority of the page. So to make this column a bit smaller, I'm just going to hover around here, and as you can see, this bar will appear. So if I just grab that and pull it, it will just make the column a bit smaller. So next, back in this contact column, I'm just going to click here, and we're going to add another callout block. So I'm going to type in /callout and select this option. And again, I'm just going to change the icon. So I'm going to click on here, select icons, and I'm going to select this envelope option here. And this is where we're going to write our email address. So I'm going to start by writing email, and I'm actually going to make this text bold. And then next to it, I'm going to input the email address. So obviously here, this is where you're going to input your actual email address so that the employer can contact you. So the actual email address I've not bolded, but I am bolding this text where it says email. Next, underneath, we're going to add another callout block. So I'm just going to do the same thing, /callout. And I'm just going to change the icon again, select icons. And this one, we're going to choose a pin like this. And this one is where you can write your home address. So I'm going to put address. And remember this, I'm going to bold as well. And here you can actually input your address like this. And just underneath, we're again going to add another callout block, and we're going to select an icon for this one, select icons, and this one we're going to add a phone. So I'm going to go with this icon. And in this one, I'm going to write phone, bold it, and just input my phone number here like this. And next underneath here, we are going to add another H1 like this one. So I'm going to type in /H1 and select this heading 1 block. And this is where we're going to add in some links. So I'm just going to type links. And again, I'm just going to add a divider using the 3 dashes just underneath as well. So feel free to leave this section out if it's not really relevant to you, but you may want to include some links, for example, to a portfolio, to a website. If you do a sort of creative role, this might be useful for you. But again, as I said, just ignore this bit if you don't have any relevant links to put on your resume. So I'm going to start by putting another call out block, and we're going to change the icon of this one to a book like this one. So this one is going to be a portfolio. So I'm going to type in portfolio and just make that bold. And I'm actually just going to put the link just underneath. So if you hold down the shift key on your keyboard and hit enter, it will allow you to go to the next line. And this is where I'm going to put the link to the portfolio. So you can add as many links here as you like. I'm just going to add one more for a website, but as I said, just add as many as you need to. So next we're going to go underneath and I'm going to add another H1 heading. So /H1 and select heading 1. And this is going to be the languages section. Again, you can completely leave this out if it's not relevant to you, but if you speak multiple languages, then it's a good idea to put that on your resume. And I'm just going to add the 3 dashes beneath to add another divider. So again, we're going to add another call out block. And I'm just going to change the icon again to this language icon here. So this is where we're going to input the languages. So let's start with English. So I'm just going to say English dash and put the level that I speak that language. So in this case, I'm a native speaker. And just to make the text stand out a little bit more, for the language, I'm just going to bold it like this. And then for the level of the language, I'm just going to italicize it. So I'll click this button here just to make it stand out a little bit more. So to add another language, I'm going to click on these 6 dots here, and I'm actually just going to duplicate this block here. And I can then just change the details on here. So let's just say that Leslie Knope also speaks Spanish, and just make sure that is still bold. And you can put the level again here. So let's just say working proficiency. Alternatively as well, for this icon, instead of putting this symbol here, you could actually use one of the emojis and you could find the flag of the country. So for English, I could put the British flag, or for Spanish, I could put the Spain flag or something like that. Next underneath, we're going to add another H1 heading, and this one is going to be for publications. So again, if this isn't relevant for you, then feel free to leave it out, but I just wanted to include everything that people may want on a resume. So this one is if you've had any work published, and I'm just going to add in the divider again with the 3 lines. And again, we're going to use a call out block, and I'm just going to change the icon to a page, this one. And I'm going to start by inputting the name of the publication. So let me just type one in. And next to it, I'm just going to input this line symbol like this that should be on your keyboard. And next to that, I'm just going to put the year that this was published. And just to make the title stand out a bit, I'm just going to highlight that and bold it like this. And if you want to add just a brief description of what this publication is, I'm just going to add a bullet point here and just type in the description. And then to place this within the call out block, I'm just going to click on these 6 dots here, drag it, and just place it here inside like that. So you can add as many of these as you need. So I'm just going to add one more. So that is everything that we're going to add into this sidebar section here. So I'm just going to scroll back up to the top, and we're now going to work on the work experience area. So I'm going to place my cursor just here underneath the divider, and we're going to add in a H2 heading, which is a slightly smaller heading than this one. So I'm going to type in /H2 and select heading 2. And this is where you're going to write the job title of your most recent or your current job. So in this case, I'm just going to put in Deputy Director. So of course, just replace this text with whatever your current or most recent job title was. And if I hit enter to go underneath, we're then going to write the name of the company that you worked for and the dates that you worked for them. So I'm going to write the name of the company firstly, and then in brackets, I'm going to put the dates. So the starting date, a dash, and then you can write either when you finish that job, or if it's your current job, you can just write present like this. And I'm actually just going to italicize all of this text. So I'm just going to highlight it and click italicize like this. So just underneath here, I'm just going to add in a bullet point, and this is where you can list all of your responsibilities or achievements that you've had during that role. So feel free to just write whatever you want here. So I've just added some text here. So just underneath here, you can then add as many roles or jobs as you like. I've just added one more in here as an example. Next, I'm going to go underneath and we're going to add another H1 heading, and this is going to be education. And again, I'm just going to add the divider in here using the 3 dashes. So I'm going to add in now a H2 heading, which is the slightly smaller heading. And this is where you're going to input the name of the degree that you did or the course that you did. So let's just say that Leslie Knope has a degree in environmental and public affairs. And then just on the next line, we're going to write where and when you studied that course. So I'm going to type in the location firstly, and then the date that you graduated. And I'm just going to make this text italics as well. So that's all we're going to add here. Just add as many either education or courses or anything like that here as you like. So I've also just added in this high school diploma as well. On the next line, we're going to add in another H1 heading, and this one is going to be for awards and honours. Again, feel free to leave this out if it isn't relevant to you, but we're just going to add again another divider just underneath like this. And I actually want to add 2 columns within this awards and honours so we can list them in 2 different columns. So what I'm going to do is type in /2C and select this 2 columns option, which is going to add 2 columns within this column here. So here's the first column, here's the second one. So in the first column, we're going to add a call out block. And I'm actually going to change the background. Instead of having it grey, I want it to have a white background. So I'll click on the 6 dots here, and under colour, I'm going to select default background, which is the white background. So as you can see, that then creates this block, which is white, but it has an outline, which I think looks really nice. As this is an award or an honour, I'm going to change the icon in this case to a trophy. So we'll go on the icon library again and type in trophy, and I'm going to select this one. And this is where we can actually write in the name of the award or the honour that you received. I'm going to type in the name here. I'm going to add one of these lines again that you can find on your keyboard, and then the date that I received that award. And I'm just going to bold the name of the award as well so it stands out a little bit more. So if you want to, you can leave it like this, or you can add a little bit of text describing the award into the block as well, which I'm going to do. So to add the text, we're going to hold down the Shift key on our keyboard and hit enter so that we go to another line within the call out block. And I'm just going to paste in the text that I have, but feel free to write whatever you like here. So feel free to add as many of these awards and honours as you like. So I'm actually just going to click on these 6 dots here and select duplicate, and I'm just going to do that a couple of times. So I've now got 4 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click again on the 6 dots and drag this one and place this in the next column, and I'll just do the same with this one. So it just looks a little bit better in this type of format, and I'm just going to change the text on these other ones to a different award or honour. So these are the ones that I've added, and just underneath we're going to add another H1. So I'm going to type in /H1 and select this heading 1 block. This one I'm going to title references. So this is where you can list all of your references for the role. This might vary depending on the country that you live in. I'm actually from the UK, and it's quite common for us to put our actual references on our resume. But if you're from a country where it's less common to put them actually on the resume, then feel free to leave this off. But I'm just going to show you how to add it in case you do want to include it. And again, we're just going to add the 3 dashes to add a divider under here as well. So I'm actually going to add 3 columns in this case so that we can add 3 references in here. So to do that, I'm going to type in /3C and select this 3 columns option. And in the first column, I'm going to type in /callout and select another callout block. And we want it with this default white background like this. I'm also going to change the icon here to an envelope like this one. And in here, we're just going to put the name of the person that we want to put down as our reference. So I'm just going to add an example here. And I'm going to put this little line option that you should find on your keyboard. And then I'm just going to put the job title of that person. So let's just say they are the director. And I'm also just going to bold the name of the person as well so it stands out a little bit more. And I'm also just going to highlight this text here and just make it italics as well so it stands out a bit more like this. And just underneath, I'm just going to paste in the contact details here. So just write in the phone number and the email address for the person that you want to put down as your reference. And I'm just going to highlight this, and I'm just going to drag and just drop it into here. So it's just inside the call out block. You can add as many references as you like. I usually try and add 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on here and select duplicate, and I'm going to do that twice. And I'm just going to drag and move each of these boxes into one of the columns. And you can then just change the text and the contact details to put 3 different contacts for your references like this. So as you can see, I've just changed the references here. So that's the main part of the resume complete. You can also add a photo if you like. Again, this is kind of dependent on if it's common to add photos onto your resume or not in your country. For me in the UK, it's not very common to have a photo, but I know that in a lot of countries it is. So I'm going to show you how you can do that if you want to. So we're actually going to add the photo as an icon. So if you hover up just above the title here, you'll see this add an icon option. So I'm just going to click on that, and it will usually just pick a random emoji to add as your icon. So you can actually change this and upload a photo instead. So if I just go back to my example quickly. So here's our example. So as you can see, I have this circle icon photo here. You can just upload any photo and it will display as the icon, but I think having it in a circle like this just makes it look a little bit more professional. So I actually did this on Canva. So I am going to show you briefly how you can do this on Canva. So here we are over on Canva. So I do actually have the pro version of Canva, but you can do what I'm about to show you using their free version. So don't worry if you don't have the paid version of Canva. So the first thing we're going to do is just in a search box, I'm going to search for a circle template. So just going to type in circle, and you'll see a few examples like this appear. So I'm just going to select this one, and And that is then going to bring up the design like this. So what we're going to do simply is just change this photo here from the stock image to a picture of ourselves. So you can upload an image onto here. If you just in the sidebar click on uploads, you can upload a picture of yourself here. So on the uploads tab, I'm going to select upload files and I'm just going to select a photo. So once the photo here is uploaded, you can just drag and drop it into here and it will just go into the circle. If you double click on it, it will allow you to change which part of the photo is being displayed. So I'm just going to pull it down a little bit like this. You can make it a little bigger. So I'm actually just going to select the icon. I'm going to hold down the Option key on my keyboard and just pull from the sides, and it's just going to keep it in the center, but I can just make it bigger so that it fits the entire page like this. So that's all you need to do. So then I'm just going to click on the share button. I'm going to select download, and instead of a PNG, I'm actually going to download as a JPEG because that's good for photos, and I'm just going to hit download. Once the image is downloaded, we can come back over to our resume, and I'm just going to click on this icon that we added, and I'm going to select the custom option. And as you can see here, there is an option to upload a file. So you can either click on this button and it will allow you to select the appropriate file, or you can also just drag and drop it in here, which is what I'm going to do. So here is the download, and I'm just going to drop it in here and it's going to upload. So as you can see, now that I've done that, it's now added that as our icon, and I think that looks really professional. So that is the basic resume complete. In a minute, I'm going to show you how you can customize the colors of this, but I do just also want to show you how you can share this with potential employers or clients. So what we're going to do is click on this share button up in the top right hand corner. And I'm going to click on this publish tab here, and it's going to ask me if I want to publish it to the web. So I'm going to select publish to web. So your resume is now live on the web. Here is the link. So I can copy this link by clicking on this button here, and I can then send this to anyone that I like, and they will be able to view the resume kind of like as if it was on a website. So with this option, no one is actually able to find your resume. So it's not available through things like Google search. But with the current options, no one would be able to find this. They would only be able to see your resume if you send them the link, which is really cool. There are a few options here like allow editing. So I'd recommend leaving that off because you don't want someone to be able to accidentally edit anything on your resume. And I would probably also switch off this allow duplicate as template option as well. So this just means that if someone opens up your resume, they could duplicate it into their own workspace and make changes to it. So I'd probably just switch that off so nobody can copy and amend it. So I said all you need to do is just send this web link to anyone that you want to be able to view your resume. Alternatively, you can also export this as a PDF. So if you wanted to email this to someone as a PDF, then you can also do that by clicking on the three little dots here. And if you just scroll down, you'll see these options here, and you can select this export option and just make sure the export format is set to PDF, and all of the other settings you can just leave the same, and you'll just click export, and then that will export the document into a PDF file that you can then, for example, attach to an email. So the final thing I want to show you is how you can customize the colors. So if you're going for a more creative role, then you may want to customize the colors and make it look a little bit different and stand out. So I made a purple version and a blue version like this. So I'm just going to show you quickly how you can customize the colors and change the color of the title as well. So I'm actually going to show you how to change this to the blue color, but you can change this to any color that you like. So we're going to start by changing the text color of all these headings to blue. So I'm simply just going to click on the 6 dots here, and under color, I'm going to select blue. So I'm just going to do that for all of these headings and also these H2 headings like this one as well. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed all of the heading colors to blue. Next, we're going to change all of these little icons in the callout blocks to blue as well. So I'm simply going to click on the icon, and you'll see this little circle icon here. So if I just click on that, it will let me select the color. So I'm going to select the blue color, and that's going to change all of the icons to blue. And I love that Notion has this little recent section, so I can easily see all of the icons that I've recently used. So the one for the About Me section, as you can see, is this human profile. So I'm just going to click on that one, and it will change to blue. So I'm just going to do that for all of these. So again, I'll click on the envelope and find the envelope in my recent, and it's already set to blue because I changed the color up here. So it's really quick and easy to do so. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed all of the icons in all of the callout blocks along here to blue. Next, we're going to change all of the bolded text within the callouts to blue. So that's this text, this text, this text here, all to blue. So I'm just going to simply highlight the text, click on this A symbol here and select blue. So it will show under the color list here, but it also shows your recently used ones here. So I'm just going to select blue like this. And as I said, I'm just going to do that for all of these bolded pieces of text in the callout blocks. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed all of the bolded text in these callout blocks here to blue, and I've also done the same in these awards and references section. Everything here is blue, as you can see. Next, we're just going to change the background color of the callout blocks to blue as well. So if I just select the 6 dots here, again, color, and down here you can select a background color. So we're going to select blue as the background color. And as you can see, it just adds a light blue background here as well. So I'm just going to do that for all of the different callout blocks that we have here. Okay, so I've just done that with all of these callout blocks here in the sidebar. I haven't done it for these ones, as these ones were the ones with a white background anyway, so I've not changed the color of these, but I have for all of these sidebar callout blocks here, as you can see. Now, the final thing that we need to change is the color of the title. So Notion actually don't allow you to change the color of the title. So if I just try and highlight it and change the color, no options appear. So you can't actually change the color of a title, but there is a workaround. So if I just go back to my example, so as you can see on the example, I have managed to change the color of the title. So I'm going to show you how you can do that now using a workaround. So I'm just going to remove the title that we have, and I'm just going to paste in this text here. So I will leave this in the description box if you just want to copy and paste it. But simply what we're going to do is in these little brackets here, this is where you're going to write your name. And this little bit here is actually a hex code. So if you don't know what a hex code is, it's essentially just a code for all of the different colors on the color wheel. So if you have noticed, Notion actually has a set few colors. So for each color, it has a particular color. So this is the blue color. So you actually need to find the exact hex code for the color that is going to match all of the headings on the page. So I will just display those colors on the screen for you now. And I'll also just leave them in the description box below. So essentially you just need to write in the hex code for whichever color you've selected for the rest of the page, and make sure you also fill in your name here, else your resume is going to say Leslie Knope on it, which is probably not great. So once you've inputted the correct hex code and you've inputted your name here, we're actually going to highlight the entire thing, and then on your keyboard you need to press the keys Command if you're on a Mac, or Control if you're on Windows, plus the Shift key and the E key. So Command Shift E. And once you've done that, it will then convert it into an equation like this, which is just a workaround to get it to show in the color that we want. So the equation will still display here. So if you've put in the wrong color, you can just amend the hex code here. So as I said, just check the description box for the appropriate code depending on which color that you've picked. And don't forget to change the text here for your name. And when you're happy, you can click done. And as you can see, it will now display with your name in the correct color, which is really cool. The final thing that I just want to show you is that you can also change the fonts on here. So this is just the default Notion font, but if you click up here on the three dots in the corner, you can select between two other fonts. So you can choose serif, which looks like this, which I think has quite a nice look. And you can also try mono as well, which looks like this. As I said, if you're going for kind of a creative or a design role, then you may want to make the resume look a little bit like this. But if you're going for more of a corporate role, then you probably just want to leave it as the default option because it looks a little bit more professional. And that's it. If you did find this video useful, then I'd really appreciate if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as I upload new Notion tutorials twice a week. You can also check out my pre-made Notion templates like this awesome reading tracker on my store. The link will be in the description box below.